Am I the asshole for ruining my brother's wedding? My brother Nate is going to get married to his fiancée Emily in a week. I was extremely close to my brother growing up. He's my favorite out of my siblings. However, when he started dating Emily, we kinda grew apart but we still talk often. Emily on the other hand, we don't get along at all. She hasn't done anything to me and I haven't done anything to her. We just don't see eye to eye on things. They're having a child-free wedding, but in Emily's eyes, a child is anyone under 21 years old. I know, damn ass rule. Originally, he wasn't allowed to be there for the ceremony or reception. I told Nate how much it would hurt not to be there for his big day. So, he ended up convincing Emily to let me stay for the ceremony. We had a family dinner earlier this week and Emily brought up that she would like to have a daycare service for the children of her guest at the wedding. And somehow, she mentioned that she would love me and my boyfriend to look over the kids. My boyfriend and I love children. We're actually studying to become a teacher and a pediatrician. We were on board with it until we heard that we will be watching 40-ish kids for 6 hours and only get paid $50 each. We agreed that we'll do it for $150 each. But Emily insisted on her original offer. And then, Nate got involved, saying he told Emily that we'd be happy to watch the children and it would save them a lot of money and how it's gonna be too late for them to find a different sitter. The more I refused, the angrier Emily got. She proceeded to tell me that I was being greedy, selfish brat, and I should be paying her since she should be giving me a practice for my teaching career. And then, she said that if I don't do this, I will ruin her wedding and won't be welcome at the ceremony. At this point, the dinner's ruined. My boyfriend's uncomfortable. I'm pissed, and the entire restaurant is staring at our table because Emily's practically screaming, paid for our food, and went home. Now, here's where I may be an asshole. I honestly don't care about babysitting. In fact, I would probably do it for free. My entire family knows about this. That's why they're so mad at me right now. My phone has been blowing up all evening, telling me that I should want to do anything that will make my brother's wedding perfect, and I'm being a childish asshole. Sure, it sucks. I'll probably not be at the wedding, but I'm sick of Emily being a bitch to me. I feel bad for putting Nate in this position, and I hope this doesn't ruin our relationship too much. But it is what it is. I know I'm being kind of childish about it. However, I do not think I'm being an asshole. So, what do you think, guys? Am I the asshole for ruining my brother's wedding and potentially our relationship? Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend not to eat so much? I know the title sounds bad, but this is a pretty specific situation, so please hear me out. I have been dating a woman and we will call her Ashley for about 3 months. Ashley grew up financially well off and relatedly privileged. It has been a point of friction in our relationship with her, not understanding or grasping the level of poverty me and my family grew up with. It is also relevant to the story that Ashley is a heavier person and is a very vocal advocate for body positivity and will very assertively stand up to anyone fat-shaming herself or others. The other person who is relevant to this story is my grandma, who is 70 years old. My grandmother is a wonderful woman, but she is both very proud and very broke. She likes to have us over for dinner and is an excellent cook, but financially, she can't really afford it. She refuses to take any money from me or anyone else and won't let anyone bring food, saying it's her responsibility to take care of the family. She also takes offense if you turn down the invitation. About a month ago, we had a dinner with her and Ashley liked the food so much, she went back for second and third large portions. This is not how is it done with my family. We all take a single small portion as the leftovers are what my grandmother has to eat for the week. So Ashley, taking more, meant my grandmother didn't eat for the next couple of days. After the dinner, I explained this to Ashley and she was shocked. I tried bringing my grandmother food but she refused the charity out of pride. My grandmother has invited us to dinner again this weekend. Before we go, I tried to have a discussion with Ashley, reiterating my grandmother's financial situation and asking that she try to only take a small single portion so my grandmother can have food for the week. I said we could go eat again after the meal if she was still hungry. Ashley got very angry at this and said she will not be shamed for her eating. She will not limit her food and that no one other than herself decide when she's had enough food. She also said I was fat shaming her. This whole ordeal has highlighted a lot of incompatibility issues and I don't know if the relationship is going to last, but just want some other opinions of if I am the asshole for asking my girlfriend to limit her eating. A lot of people are asking why I didn't tell my girlfriend before the first meal. To be frank, I didn't think of it. It hadn't occurred to me that someone would go to someone else's house and eat 2 days worth of food in a sitting.
Am I the asshole for suing my ex and her boyfriend? My ex and I divorced 3 years ago. She was cheating. But at this point, I don't care about the relationship anymore. The pending lawsuit has nothing to do with her or him, but rather their actions. My ex and I have a son, 13 years old, that we split time with 50-50. He's a great kid that interests have changed a lot, to be honest, as I imagine more kids or teenagers tend to do through the years. One thing my son was heavily into at some point was Legos. He used to play with them all the time, and personally, I think they're a great toy for different reasons. I used to love playing them with him, and to this day, I still collect boxes that I leave unopened as a collection. Well, when my ex and I divorced, she got with someone who loved Legos more, I guess. From what I know, he loves making creations and buildings the sets in. I don't care. Seems cool. He does one thing I think is very weird. He uses crazy glue so the sets can't break or pieces can't be lost. It seems so weird to me. The issue is, I was out of town for all 3 days last week for medical reasons, and my son wanted to get his PS4 so he could play it at his mom's. This isn't out of the ordinary at all, and he has a key, so he let me know he would be stopping over for it. I told him to have fun when I saw him on the entry camera. My wife's husband was with him, which was a no-no. I told him via speaker to not go in and to wait on the porch. He flinched but walked in anyway. I sent my ex a text telling her to call him and tell him he's 1 minute away from a cop call. He left my home with a bag in hand, which I didn't think much of because my son had his games too. Well, my son texted me later that evening and said he didn't know it at the time, but he's pretty sure stepdad took some of my sets. These are all old sets, and 2 are worth big money. When I got home, I confirmed the missing sets and called my ex. She had no idea, but he admired he took them, but it was so son could have the sets to complete his collection. My son doesn't even like Legos anymore and told his mom he wouldn't steal from me. My wife asked how much it would cost to replace them, and unfortunately, it's more than their savings. Actually, it would take their house down payment plus more. I told them if they didn't pay in 2 weeks, I was suing and pressing charges. The price in the sets makes it a felony. My ex and her husband are saving for a house, which would give my son more space when he's there. But those sets were going to help pay for his education someday or a home of his own. I filed a police report and have talked to a lawyer, and we're moving forward with the suit. Everyone is calling me a joke because they are just toys. But I don't get it. They are worth real money. I'm not rich, guys. I needed those to help my son's future. But again, taking this money does deny my son things at his mom's house. Am I the asshole here? The sets have been opened, which more than half their worth, and one was glued together. The damage was done already. The stolen items are King's Castle, Milk Truck Legoland, Train Carousel, and the glued one was a Star Wars Snow Speeder. Some of these are one piece of a larger set. So if you lose 1 of 5, you lose the value of 1 produced plus the value of the set as a whole. Second edit, ex-wife and boyfriend are the same as ex-boyfriend. I'm just a bad writer. Third and final edit for this post. I know I haven't been here much, but I have read many of your comments and taken them to heart. I know my spelling is poor, guys, and I apologize for the format. Calling me names in my private message was not called for, and I am not a scalper. I enjoy buying these sets and do not intend to sell all of them, but I want my son to go to college and not worry about debt, so I want to sell the ones that I can to help. I never had the smarts for higher education, but my son is not me, and I love him and want him to do better. Around 4 p.m., I called the local state police and met at their facility. I gave them all I had and gave my statement. My son is with me starting tonight, so when I picked him up, I sent him into GameStop and called his mom. I told her I had filed charges, and I asked the cop to call me when everything was done so I could give him the opportunity to turn himself in. I wanted to be better than he treated me. I'll save her reaction for a real update. By the way, can someone please tell me how to update because I don't really understand the steps in the main notes. I told my son when we got home what I did and why. My son said that I did the right thing because he didn't want his stepdad to think it was okay to do it again. And if he didn't go to jail, he'd rather be her away from him so it isn't weird.